watch this.
The main reason why I don't want to be married anymore is because the way that I've been able to make my 17-year marriage work all of these years is by compromising myself, compromising what I think, compromising about what I value, compromise what I want, compromise the type of relationship that I want to have. Everything has been a
That's exactly what I say all the time. Is this not what I've been saying? I talk about how men, um, well, I'm sorry, I talk about how women basically could be in a relationship as long as they want to be, they can be in a relationship forever. But it's all about how much they are willing to shrink themselves, how much abuse they're willing to accept, and so on and so forth, how much they're willing to compromise themselves, right? That's exactly what this woman is talking about.
compromise, but it's been the compromise has been on my part, me
Mm.
adjusting, changing, doing things differently to please my partner or to make the family as a whole work. And I just know that it's just not the right thing to do anymore. But on the other hand, it's really scary thinking that I'm going to be 52 years old out there living by myself with my kids, trying to make it in this economy. I don't have an education. I never went to school. I didn't have a career or anything like that. There was no plan B.
And you're leaving.
And this is why, hold on, I'm gonna let her say what she needs to say, but and this is why a man isn't a plan, right? And this is why I am also like, men, if you're going to have a woman at home and she's a stay-at-home mother and stay-at-home wife, you need to compensate her. You need to pay her. That's the trade-off. If you can't afford to do that, then you can't afford to have a stay-at-home wife and she needs to go back to work. Period.
Went to school. I didn't have a career or anything like that. There was no plan B.
And you're leaving because you don't want to compromise?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very legitimate reason to leave a relationship because you are tired of being the only person that is compromising and shrinking themselves to fit inside this relationship so it's convenient for your partner. That is abuse. And you know what I mean? Like you're just basically just trying to be like, wow, you don't want to compromise. She has been compromising this whole time. She is contorting herself into positions that she is no longer comfortable being in. And now that she wants to unravel herself, this woman is like, really? You just don't want to remain twisted up like a pretzel for the next 15 years and 20 years?
This was always the plan, be married, stay married, raise a family, and just stay together and make it work to the end. I'm taking a huge risk, and sometimes I question whether it's the right thing to do. But I know the reason why I'm questioning is because I'm so used to compromising myself. I'm so used to putting myself last. I'm so used to just making myself disappear so I can be in these roles, wife, mother, whatever, and somehow hopefully make other people happy, and that'll be my life. But that's not the right way to live. I want
Mm-mm.
to find a different way of living.
I spoke to my wife about this a while ago. I was talking about leadership. And I was saying like how to be a leader, you have to like sacrifice yourself and all of that stuff. And my wife was like, no, you don't, you know. She was saying like that's really unhealthy. And, to be the most effective leader, you definitely should, make sure that you are prioritizing yourself and like you're taking care of yourself and you're taken care of, not at the expense of everybody else necessarily, right? Not like you're going to take food out of somebody's mouth literally so that you can eat first or so that you can eat. It's not that, but it's just that you need to make sure that you are also being taken care of, right? That's what I'm getting from what she's saying. She's like, yeah, I'm just not taking care of myself at all. It's not, and my husband's not taking care of me. And that's what she's talking about. She's saying she's compromising. She's like, she's giving up the expectation of being taken care of by her man so that she can take care of her family and her man. That's what she's saying. And this woman is like, oh, you don't want to stay in that forever and die? Like, no, what the fuck? Who wants to stay there?
Happy, and that'll be my life. But that's not the right way to live. I want to find a different way of living. And I have a lot of regret that I've waited so long and I'm doing it now at 52. I don't have youth I don't have, all of the optimism. I don't have years and years in front of me. I don't really even have the time to kind of wait on it or waste. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. I mean, if I don't do it now, when will I ever do it? When will I ever be comfortable in my own skin? When will I ever feel proud and happy and like
This
myself?
is, I, I don't know if this falls in the category of a gray divorce, but it's close. If not, I would have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's close. So she's 52. I don't know how old her husband is, so it could be considered a gray divorce, right? But it's close though. Older woman. She looks really young and good or whatever. So take that, do with that with what you may. But it makes a lot of sense when you listen to what she's saying. She's just, the impression that I get is just more or less like she's just tired, and she has she has too much life left to be in this position. You know what I mean? Like maybe if she was 72, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she was 68, maybe you can make you might as well ride it out or whatever the case may be, right? Like I would never say that, but I'm saying like maybe you can make that case. But like she's like looking at her life, she's like, I got like 30 years left on this planet, and like I don't want to live like this. And it's sad because I'm sure she has spoken to her husband many a times about this and been like, yo, I just, I'm saying, the nicest ways, and like, hey, I just really just think that maybe, I just really would like for you to put forth a little bit more effort. Or, I was thinking, can we get maybe get some help for me on the weekends? Like just little shit like that, right? Things that I know women are doing in these situations. And for her to get to this place, and you could just look at, the pain in her eyes, is like, that man just totally neglected her and disregarded everything that she said, right? And everything that she was asking for.
Will I ever be in a situation like that again unless I go out there and try to take it for myself? It's pretty scary, but I have a feeling that it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it.
Who gonna tell her? Who's going to tell her? This woman's willing to give up everything because she no longer wants to compromise.
No, because she's tired of being abused. She is willing to walk away from her husband because she is tired of being abused. And this is, all the studies and all the data when it talks about how single women are happier, single women with children even are happier than women with husbands and children. Perfect example. If you listen to what she's saying, if you listen to all that she has had to do for her husband, not for her kids, right? Because you expect to compromise a certain extent for your kids. You expect to give up a lot for your kids. She already gave up a lot, right? She gave up her body. She put her body on the line. She put her health on the line, whatever, right? You already expect to do that for your children. And your kids didn't ask to be here. So it's a different approach that you have, right? It's a different expectation you have for your kids. You didn't sign up to do all of this shrinking and all of this compromising and all of this bending for another grown adult who is unwilling to do much, if any, compromising themselves.
Part of being in a relationship is compromise. I didn't hear her complain about anything else. The fact that she no longer wants to compromise.
You didn't hear her complain about anything else? Were you listening to her at all? She what? Did you hear anything that she said? This lady is gaslighting us. This is crazy. I don't know this woman, by the way. I don't know either one of these women, but she might be one, she's one of those male identified women, obviously. And she's like, I don't know, because you didn't hear what this woman just said. What she said was like abundantly clear. She was like, yeah, I'm like, essentially, this man that I've been in a relationship with for 17 years or whatever, he does not compromise. I am the one doing all of the compromising. I'm the one that's being flexible and being pliable, right? He is like getting everything that he wants from me, and I'm not getting anything that I need from him. That's what it sounds like, right? So for this woman to now, the woman on the bottom, to be acting like, I just don't understand. So just because you don't want to compromise, a compromise is a big ass fucking word, by the way. It's not a little word. Just because you don't want to compromise, like, yeah, that's a huge word, man. That's not a word to be taken lightly. Compromising is not a word to be taken lightly. Now, if you are the only person compromising, though, is it really a compromise? You see what I'm saying? Or are you being exploited? Are you being compromised? At this point, have you become compromised because somebody has been constantly exploiting you this whole time? At this point, it sounds like this woman is being exploited. I wish she would have used a different word. I wish she would have actually used the word exploitation. Then maybe this other woman wouldn't have made this dumbass video.
Do she not understand her husband is also compromising?
How? How is he compromised? Why is that an assumption? I don't feel like I've compromised much in my relationship. I don't know what I've compromised, but I don't feel like I've compromised much. I pretty much get to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I've been doing it this whole time. Is a compromise. Like, I hate when you guys act like the compromise is, oh, I used to sleep with a bunch of women and now I don't get to sleep with a bunch of women or whatever the case may be. No. I don't want to sleep with a bunch of women because I get to sleep with my wife. I don't want to be with a bunch of women because I want to be with my, I get to be with my wife. It's not a like, where's the compromise at? I won. I got to be with my wife. I won. I found a person that loves me and wants to be with me, and she's cute and, you know what I mean, and nice and sweet and all of that stuff. Like, why? Like, okay. I know I'm programmed to want to sleep with as many women as I possibly can or whatever the case may be, but that doesn't mean that I'm still like compromising myself because I don't get to sleep with a bunch of women. That's not to me. I wouldn't consider that an actual compromise.
It's not just her, it's both of them that came together and said, we're going to do this. There's some things that we have to.
He has a job, he has a career, he has money, he has access to continue to make money. She has none of those things. Where did he compromise at? Where is he compromising? You let me know. I'm curious. It's funny. Once again, they always say, like, people say stuff like this and then they don't actually offer like the example of like, oh yeah, I bet you he compromised like this. Let's hear. Let's listen.
Compromise. You're not going to get everything your way, and he's not going to get everything his way. You just said you don't have a career, you don't have an education. So what I'm hearing is he's providing.
No, he's exploiting. Imagine this. Imagine a worker, a migrant worker working on a farm, right? Being paid pennies on a dollar, not being respected. And then a person like you coming along and saying, looks like you got a job. Like, I mean, like, and because they make more money in America than they do in their home country of, let's say, Mexico, since they make more money in America than they do in Mexico, then here you come telling them, oh, look at you, you got a great job. Because you would never be able to make this money in Mexico. Like, what? Those people are still being exploited. Even if they make more money in America than they do in Mexico, they are still being exploited. This woman is still being exploited, even though her husband is quote unquote providing for her. But he's not actually providing for her, by the way. Not all the way. He's providing certain things for her, but he's not overall providing for her. Because she shouldn't have to work anymore. She should be able, she shouldn't have to worry about money. She shouldn't have to be like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to survive in this economy. He should be providing for her still. Once you tell a woman that I'm going to provide for you, that contract is for life. That contract should not be, I'm going to provide for you until we're not together anymore. That's not how that contract should be. That contract should be, I'm going to provide for you forever because I have put you in a position where, fuck our relationship, right? I put you in a position to where you won't be able to make enough money to survive, which is you're playing with somebody's fucking life. You're playing with somebody's life. So whatever happened, right, in that relationship, hey, you were neglectful, you know what I mean? You didn't listen, you didn't grow, whatever the case may be, all that stuff's hard and you guys got to deal with that, you know, in your own way, in your own time. But this woman needs to eat. This woman needs a place to stay in a safe neighborhood so her kids can thrive. And you, as the man who have been taking care of that this whole time, you still need to be taking care of that. But it doesn't sound like this man is.
He's taking care of everything. I'm not hearing you're being neglected. I'm not hearing you're being.
She is literally saying she is being neglected, ma'am. That is what she's saying. She's saying her needs aren't being met. She's meeting everybody else's needs. She is literally saying she's being neglected.
Bruised in any kind of way, change it up just in case of community guidelines.
Neglect is abuse.
It's just that you are tired of compromising. Marriage is work, daily compromise, daily sacrifice. And it's all about how you look at it. I don't hear anything's going wrong besides you don't want to compromise and think it's going to be easier just to start over. Are you starting over with yourself? Because if you get involved with some other person, you're going to have to compromise.
So real quick, this is not an example of her saying exactly what was going on? You didn't catch this part. You didn't listen to this. I saw you listening to this. I saw you reacting to this part, right? What did you miss?
Because I'm so used to compromising myself. I'm so used to putting myself last. I'm so used to just making myself disappear so I can be in these roles, wife, mother, whatever, and somehow hopefully make other people happy, and that'll be my life.
So does that not equal she is being neglected? She's putting herself last. She's being neglected. And you can't say, well, she signed up for it. She didn't. No, who the fuck signs up for that? She just did what she needed to do to keep the relationship and to keep the family together.
And you're going to have to compromise. So you're going to end up putting yourself in the same position, but you're going to put yourself in that position at 52.
There is a certain amount of compromise that is acceptable. She is well beyond that point. Simple as that. She's well beyond the point of rational compromising, where it's like, okay, that's fair. That's what's going on. So once again, compromising is a scale. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a spectrum. She is way the fuck off on the deep end. She's in the extreme end of compromising. Where, like I said, now you are in the realm of abuse. Now you're in the realm of exploitation. If you're the only one compromising to this extent, the way that she's describing it, now you are obviously being exploited, which equals abuse.
Not saying people can't start over at an older age, but don't expect it to be as easy as it was when you were in your 20s.
What makes you think this woman is looking to find a new man? I'm not getting that from what she's saying. I'm getting she's just talking about being happy and healthy. I don't think she's thinking about dating another man at all right now, to be honest with you.
I've heard countless stories of women saying, it's tough out here. It is so tough out here. Especially being an older woman. What she's about to do, oh, it's a big gamble. Now, it's so easy to think of starting over. You're fantasizing, oh, I'm going to start over. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But let's get to reality. What about all the years you invested in your marriage? The shared memories, the partnership, the children, and
these types of women, these types of people that talk like this in times like this, they are dangerous. Like, you trying to get this woman to stay in an abusive relationship is dangerous. What if you actually successfully convince her to stay in this relationship? Would you feel good about that? To stay in an abusive relationship, like that would make you proud. Like, yeah, I did it. That's how you would feel? Scary.
the things that did work. I've seen countless videos of women crying, regretting, I should have never left my marriage. I thought it was going to be.
Stop that. I got to tell you the same thing I tell these other dummies. That is your algorithm, man. That is what you like to look at. You like to look at videos of women crying in their cars because that reinforces your worldview, right? That feeds your implicit bias, right? You want confirmation bias. That's confirmation bias. You get a lot of videos of this thing that says, or that illustrates exactly what you already think. That's all you're looking for.
This, that, and the other. I should have never left my marriage, but it was too late.
Most women don't regret getting divorced.
At the end of the day, marriage takes effort and compromise. Sometimes we get tired of routine. We want some excitement. We want something different. But that doesn't necessarily mean leave your person.
The thing she wants that's different is to not be abused and to be herself and to gain of a sense of personhood, a sense of individuality that she's lacking right now. That's what she's talking about.
Especially when you have excuses like, I don't want to compromise anymore. Really?
Yeah.
What we got to remember is happiness is fluid in a relationship. It's not permanent. You have your good days, you have your bad days. No one feels happy all the time. Marriages go through seasons. Some days you're going to be in full bliss. Other days you're going to be like, oh my goodness, can you give me some space? But to expect constant happiness is unrealistic. What they say, you
I don't think that that's what she's asking for. Like, why are you going to that's a straw man, like a motherfucker. Like, she is not saying that she expects to be blissfully happy every single day of her life because she's in a relationship with somebody. That's not what she's saying. She's saying, I'm being fucking abused, and I would like to know what it feels like to not be abused. So you're going to the extreme of that? What if it's just she's not getting abused? I bet you for her that would feel fucking awesome.
got to keep the fire going. You got to keep putting little logs on the fire to keep it going. Sometimes it may sizzle out, but you see a little smoke. If you got a little smoke, a little spark, start putting another log on there. Keep doing those little things, because before you know it, you would have ignited that fire again. And again, you should never stay in a relationship where it's unhealthy and toxic and abusive. So I have a few questions. What made you feel like you was the only one compromising in this relationship? When did you start feeling unhappy in this marriage? Have you communicated these frustrations?
She's contradicting herself. She's saying if you feel abused, you should get out of a relationship. This woman is abused. She's feeling abused. Shouldn't she get out of the relationship? Now you're questioning her. This gives you would ask her what was she wearing if she told you that she got raped. Like, you sound like the type that would be like, and what did you have on? Why did you go over his house at 3:00 in the morning?
Because communication is the key. You have to communicate in order for your relationship to work. Did you consider therapy? In what ways has your husband compromised in this marriage? What does starting over look like for you? While unhappiness can lead to a valid reason to reevaluate your marriage, it's not a good enough reason to want to end your marriage.
Man, that is crazy. Listening to this woman speak, tell her story, cry, break down, lay a lot of it out there for us, and for you to basically just try to, corral her and coerce her back into a relationship with her abusive husband is disgusting. Like, that was gross.